a book for the wee ones. It's called Little Red Riding Hood. There was once a little girl who lived at the edge of a big forest. The girl's mother had made her a bright red cloak with a hood that she wore every day. Soon everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother handed her a basket of food and said, "Please take this to your grandmother. She is not feeling well, and it will do her good." "Go straight there," her mother added. "Don't stop to play in the woods or talk to strangers along the way." It was a beautiful day. Birds were singing, rabbits were hopping, and a little stream was bubbling along nearby. Little Red Riding Hood saw some lovely yellow flowers growing beneath some tall trees. She wished she had time to stop and pick a bunch, but she remembered her sick grandmother and hurried on her way. The woods got thicker and darker. The only sound was the soft crunch of dried leaves under Little Red Riding Hood's feet. Suddenly, a great wolf jumped in front of her. "Good morning, miss," the wolf said politely. "What is that delicious smell?" "It is fruit and cheese and cakes for my poor sick grandmother," Little Red Riding Hood replied, putting her cloak tightly about her. Then she remembered her promise not to speak to strangers. "What a good girl you are to bring a basket full of food to your grandma," said the sly wolf. "She will be so happy to see you. Perhaps she would like some pretty flowers, too, to cheer her up." The wolf smiled, revealing his long white teeth. "Well, if grandmother isn't here, then I'll just pretend that I'm Grandma," he said. "After I gobble Little Red Riding Hood up, there'll be fruit and cheese and cake for my dessert." Soon Little Red Riding Hood arrived at the cottage, carrying a big, beautiful bunch of flowers. She put down the basket and walked over to her grandma's bed. "Why, Grandma, what big ears you have!" she gasped. "The better to hear you with, my dear," answered the wicked wolf. "But do come a little closer." When Little Red Riding Hood stepped forward, she exclaimed, "Why, Grandma, what big eyes you have!" "The better to see you with, my dear," replied the wolf. "But please, come closer still." Finally, Little Red Riding Hood reached the bed. "Why, Grandma, what big teeth you have!" she cried. "The better to eat you with, my dear," shouted the wolf, throwing off the covers. This so frightened Little Red Riding Hood that she dropped her flowers right on the wolf's face. "Achoo!" said the surprised wolf. "Achoo! Achoo!" The wolf was sneezing so much that Grandma's nightcap slid down over his eyes. He didn't even see Little Red Riding Hood run to hide in her grandma's cupboard. The wolf tried to get out of bed, but his tail got twisted in Grandma's dressing gown. When he stepped down, he tripped over the basket, and each time he sneezed, "Achoo! Achoo!" the nightcap slid back over his eyes. Confused, the wolf staggered out of the cottage and, still tangled up in Grandma's dressing gown, a hunter carrying an axe stopped to help him, but when the wolf saw the axe, he raced off into the woods, vowing never to come back. The hunter went into Grandmother's cottage to see what was going on. "How can we ever thank you for chasing that wicked wolf away?" cried Grandma when she saw him. "Please share our lunch," Little Red Riding Hood said. While they ate the goodies from Little Red Riding Hood's basket, far off in the woods they could still hear "Achoo! Achoo! Achoo!"